I think we're getting very close to rediscovering some of the things that our ancient ancestors were up to.
And so through this technology, they're able to move stones or cut stones or all the above?
All the above.
And even transport them?
In the fascinating realm of Randall Carlson's sacred number theory, numbers transcend their basic arithmetic function, embodying deep cosmic and spiritual significance. This theory, interwoven with the principles of sacred geometry, posits that certain numbers and the geometric patterns they represent hold a universal, almost mystical quality, observable in nature, ancient architecture, and cosmology. A cornerstone of this theory is the examination of specific numbers that recur with astonishing frequency across various natural, architectural, and astronomical contexts. Take the number 108, for instance. In Hinduism, it's considered sacred, and in astronomy, it's intriguingly represented as the approximate distance ratio. The distance from the Earth to the Sun is about 108 times the Sun's diameter, and the distance from the Earth to the Moon is roughly 108 times the Moon's diameter. This pattern appears too frequently to be mere coincidence, according to Carlson's theory, suggesting an underlying cosmic order. Carlson's theory further delves into the realm of sacred geometry, exploring how shapes like the flower of life, the Fibonacci spiral, and the golden ratio, approximately 1.618, are fundamental to understanding the structure of the universe. These patterns are found everywhere in nature, from the arrangement of leaves on a stem to the spirals of galaxies. The golden ratio, in particular, is seen in the proportions of the Parthenon in Greece and the Great Pyramid of Giza, indicating that ancient architects might have employed these as sacred proportions to mirror the harmony found in nature. In exploring ancient architectural marvels, Carlson points out how these structures were often aligned with astronomical phenomena. For example, the Great Pyramid of Giza aligns with the cardinal points of the compass, while Stonehenge aligns with the solstices. These alignments are not arbitrary but deliberate, indicating a sophisticated understanding of celestial movements. This knowledge, coupled with the use of sacred numbers in their design, suggests that these ancient structures were more than just physical edifices. They were constructed with a deep understanding of and connection to the cosmos. Moreover, Carlson's theory touches upon the idea that ancient civilizations might have encoded this knowledge of sacred numbers and geometry into their myths and religious texts. This idea proposes that stories and symbols from ancient texts are not just folklore or religious dogma, but are allegorical representations of profound scientific and astronomical knowledge. Venturing further into Randall Carlson's exploration of sacred numbers, we enter the realm of sacred geometry, a concept that suggests the universe itself is constructed on geometric principles. This intriguing notion posits that certain geometric shapes and patterns are foundational to the physical world. From the microcosm of atomic structures to the macrocosm of galaxies. Central to the idea of sacred geometry is the concept of the Fibonacci sequence and the golden ratio. Often symbolized by the spiral pattern seen in galaxies, hurricanes, and even the structure of DNA. The Fibonacci sequence, a series of numbers where each number is the sum of the two preceding ones, manifests in the natural world in surprising ways. For instance, the pattern of seeds in a sunflower follows this sequence, leading to the formation of a spiral that adheres to the golden ratio. Carlson's theory explores how this ratio, approximately 1.618, is not just a mathematical curiosity, but a fundamental characteristic of the universe. This divine proportion is found in the shells of snails, the structure of human faces. It's as though this ratio represents a cosmic blueprint for aesthetic and structural perfection. In the realm of astronomy, sacred geometry is evident in the orderly patterns of planetary orbits and the distribution of galaxies in the cosmos. The intricate dance of celestial bodies follows predictable geometric paths, suggesting a harmonious and orderly universe that resonates with the principles of sacred geometry. Delving deeper into Randall Carlson's sacred number theory, we encounter the mesmerizing world of ancient civilizations and their seemingly intentional alignments with cosmic phenomena. This segment explores how various ancient structures around the world are not just feats of architectural grandeur, but also sophisticated astronomical observatories, revealing a profound understanding of celestial mechanics. One of the most iconic examples is the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt. According to Carlson's theory, this pyramid is not only a marvel of engineering, but also a structure deeply embedded with astronomical significance. The pyramid's sides are closely aligned to the cardinal points of the compass, and the structure's dimensions are said to be a scale model of the Earth, incorporating the sacred numbers and geometrical patterns reflective of the cosmos. This alignment and incorporation suggest that the ancient Egyptians had a profound understanding of the Earth's size and shape and its place in the solar system. Moving to Stonehenge in England, this prehistoric monument is another exemplar of ancient cosmic alignment. The arrangement of its massive stones aligns perfectly with the solstices, indicating a deep knowledge of the solar cycle. These alignments might have been used for ceremonial purposes, agricultural planning, or as a way to mark the passage of time. The precision of these alignments baffles modern scientists, given the technological limitations of the era. Carlson also points to the ancient city of Teotihuacan in Mexico, where the layout of the city and its pyramids mirrors the positions of celestial bodies. The Pyramid of the Sun, Pyramid of the Moon, and the Temple of the Feathered Serpent form a complex that aligns with specific points in the sky, suggesting a sophisticated understanding of astronomy by the Teotihuacans. These alignments and architectural feats are not confined to a single region, but are a global phenomenon. From the Nazca lines in Peru, vast geoglyphs in the desert which some theorize to be aligned with constellations, to the megalithic temples of Malta, whose orientations align with astronomical events, ancient structures around the world show a pattern of cosmic integration. Carlson theorizes that this widespread phenomenon indicates a universally shared understanding of astronomy among ancient civilizations. This knowledge, he suggests, might have been used not just for practical purposes like agriculture, but also for deeper spiritual or metaphysical reasons. The precise nature of these alignments and constructions implies that ancient societies had a holistic view of the Earth and the cosmos, seeing themselves as an integral part of a larger cosmic order. In the intriguing exploration of Randall Carlson's sacred number theory, we find a compelling intersection between ancient mythologies and geological evidence, particularly concerning the narrative of a great flood. This segment delves into how Carlson connects the dots between geological data and the flood myths prevalent in various cultures, suggesting a catastrophic event in Earth's history that left an indelible mark on human consciousness. Across numerous civilizations, from the Mesopotamian epic of Gilgamesh to the biblical story of Noah's Ark, there are strikingly similar tales of a massive flood that wiped out most of humanity. Carlson investigates these myths not as mere allegorical tales, but as potential historical records of actual events. He points to geological evidence of significant climatic shifts and catastrophic flooding at the end of the last ice age, around 11,600 years ago. This period, known scientifically as the Younger Dryas, is characterized by sudden cooling followed by rapid warming, which could have led to massive glacial melting and rising sea levels. Supporting this theory is the discovery of large-scale geological features that are indicative of massive flooding. For instance, the scablands in the Pacific Northwest of the United States show evidence of having been carved by massive, swift flows of water far beyond what could be caused by normal riverine processes. These features include large channels cut into the bedrock, known as coulees, and giant ripple marks, which are difficult to explain without invoking catastrophic flood events. Carlson posits that such a flood could have been triggered by a variety of factors, including comet impacts that led to rapid melting of ice caps, causing a sudden and dramatic rise in sea levels. This hypothesis is bolstered by evidence of extraterrestrial impact events, such as high concentrations of iridium and nanodiamonds found in geological layers dating to the Younger Dryas period. The implications of this theory are profound. If true, it suggests that many of the great flood myths are not mere stories, but are based on real events that had a catastrophic impact on prehistoric human civilizations. This perspective also underscores the fragility of human societies in the face of dramatic environmental changes. Moreover, Carlson's exploration highlights the interconnectedness of mythology, geology, and astronomy. By linking geological evidence with ancient narratives, he presents a compelling case for re-examining our understanding of ancient history. and the forces that have shaped the development of human civilization.
If we're only looking for a mere reflection of ourselves, some modern researchers whose work has been buried or suppressed, I think we're getting very close to rediscovering some of the things that our ancient ancestors were up to. There are people who've been working on these things for decades now, basically in secret.
Randall Carlson's ideas about sacred geometry in relation to ancient megalithic structures are truly interesting. He delves deep into the idea that ancient civilizations had a profound understanding of geometric principles and deliberately incorporated these into their monuments. It's a mix of mathematics and archaeology. Let's start with the basics of sacred geometry. This concept revolves around using key geometric shapes like circles, squares, triangles, and hexagons believed to have mystical significance. Think about a circle representing unity or infinity, and a square symbolizing stability. It's about finding deeper meaning in these fundamental shapes.
In the golden section, or the divine proportion, we're looking for that one magic point where the ratio of the small section is to the large section exactly as the large section is to the whole line.
Then there's the golden ratio, phi. This specific ratio pops up everywhere in nature and art, and it's almost like a mathematical fingerprint of the universe. Carlson points out that many megalithic structures seem to follow this golden ratio in their design, which is pretty mind-blowing if you think about it. And we can't forget the Fibonacci sequence, that series where each number is the sum of the two before it. This sequence is found in the natural world, like in the spirals of seashells and even galaxies. Carlson suggests that this pattern of growth and expansion is reflected in the design of ancient structures. Fractals are another piece of the puzzle. These are patterns that repeat at different scales and are found in natural phenomena like coastlines and trees. The idea that ancient builders used fractals in their structures implies a deep understanding of the universe's interconnectedness.
When you actually have that mindset that you're creating something that is unique and something that resonates with higher principles.
Carlson also talks about mandalas and labyrinths. Mandalas, with their intricate geometric patterns, are used in Hinduism and Buddhism to represent the cosmos. Labyrinths have been used in various cultures for spiritual and meditative purposes. According to Carlson, places like the Nazca lines in Peru might have mandala-like designs intended for ritual use. Then there's the significance of sacred numbers, like 3, 7, and 12, which have symbolic meanings in many traditions. He argues that these numbers were intentionally used in the construction of megalithic sites, reflecting the spiritual beliefs of those who built them. One of the most intriguing aspects of sacred geometry is the alignment with celestial bodies and events. Carlson contends that these ancient structures were not just randomly placed, they were aligned with astronomical phenomena like solstices, equinoxes, and the movements of stars and planets, forming a kind of cosmic geometry.
Geometry was so intrinsic to many systems, both spiritual systems and meditation systems, as well as art and architecture and things like that.
Randall Carlson's theories about how ancient civilizations went about quarrying and transporting massive stones are pretty intriguing. He delves into a range of methods that really make you appreciate the ingenuity of these ancient builders. Let's chat about some of these techniques. First off, Carlson talks about the use of stone hammers and chisels. Imagine ancient craftsmen shaping and extracting stones from quarries using tools made from hard stones like granite or diorite. It's a labor-intensive process, but it shows a deep understanding of the materials they were working with. Then there's the whole idea of splitting large stones from bedrock using wedges. Wooden wedges might have been driven into cracks in the rock and then soaked with water. As the wood swelled, it would have exerted force on the rock, causing it to split. It's quite clever when you think about it, using nature's own properties to get the job done. Drilling techniques are another fascinating part of Carlson's theories. He suggests that ancient builders might have used tubular drills with abrasive sand and water to bore holes in tough stones like granite. The level of precision this would require is just astounding. When it comes to extracting bigger blocks, Carlson proposes methods like cave mining or creating underground chambers within the quarry rock. This way, large stone blocks could be accessed and removed while still intact.
they're lifting these blocks. Again and again it appears in ancient Egyptian traditions. The notion that we could lift huge blocks with sound seems absurd to archaeologists, and yet it's there in the traditions of the Egyptologists.
Transporting these massive stones is another hurdle altogether. Carlson suggests wooden sledges as one of the methods. These sledges would help distribute the stone's weight over a larger area, making it easier to move. And imagine using water or wet sand as a lubricant beneath these sledges. It would create a slippery surface, allowing for easier movement of these huge stones. Then there are the cylindrical wooden rollers. By placing these under the stone, builders could roll the stone forward incrementally. It would have been a continuous process, needing a steady supply of rollers. Carlson even touches on the possibility of counterweight systems being used to lift and move these stones vertically. Think about using sandbags or other stones as counterweights on one side of a fulcrum to lift the stone onto sledges or platforms. And of course, there's the topic of ramps. The idea of building spiral or zigzagging ramps to move stones to higher levels at construction sites is another debated method. It would have allowed a gradual elevation of these massive stones to where they were needed. It's fascinating to consider all these methods. They certainly paint a picture of ancient civilizations being far more advanced and innovative in their construction techniques than we often give them credit for.
Resonance frequencies. Everything vibrates. Everything vibrates at a frequency, and if you know that frequency, you can control things. And it's all based upon the ancient numbers.
Now, Randall Carlson's take on the precision cutting and stone joinery in ancient megalithic structures is really something to marvel at. He really drives home just how skilled these ancient builders must have been. Let's talk about some of the details he highlights. Take the Great Pyramid of Giza, for instance. Carlson often points out the incredible precision in its construction. The outer casing stones, made of Tura limestone, were fitted together with such accuracy that the joints between them were only a few millimeters wide. Imagine how smooth and shiny that surface would have been, gleaming in the sunlight. It's a testament to the incredible craftsmanship of the builders. Now, achieving this kind of precision in cutting stones is no small feat, especially considering the tools available at the time. Carlson suggests that the ancient builders likely used copper chisels for the initial grooves and diorite pounding stones for the finer finishing. This combination allowed for the precise shaping of the stones. And then there's the grinding technique, using abrasive materials like sand and water with these tools to achieve the smoothness and precision of those cut surfaces. It's like ancient craftsmanship meeting an almost modern engineering precision. Of course, some alternative theorists, including Carlson, speculate about more advanced or lost technologies like focused sunlight or sound vibrations. But these ideas are pretty controversial and not widely accepted in mainstream archaeology. When it comes to stone joinery, Carlson highlights techniques like dovetailing, seen in the construction of megalithic walls. This technique, where wedge-shaped projections and grooves are carved into stone blocks, creates a stable and secure connection. It's seen in ancient Inca architecture and showcases advanced masonry skills. Then there's the use of interlocking blocks. In some structures, the stones are designed to interlock with neighboring ones, ensuring stability and integrity. This kind of precision in stone cutting and shaping is crucial for achieving seamless connections. Carlson also talks about dry stone construction, like what you see in Machu Picchu. This method assembles stones without mortar or cement, relying instead on careful selection and placement of stones. It's a clear indicator of the craftsmanship and planning that went into these ancient structures. And let's not forget about the complex masonry patterns. The intricate patterns, like herringbone or alternating stone courses, not only add structural stability but also aesthetic beauty to these megalithic constructions.
My contention is what we're really seeing 7, 8, 9,000 years ago is not the origins of civilization, but the rebooting of civilization.
Moving on again, Randall Carlson's theory about civilizations existing during the last ice age is something straight out of a fascinating blend of archaeology and mythology. It's pretty interesting how he steps away from mainstream archaeological thought. He suggests that back in the Pleistocene epoch, which wrapped up around 11,700 years ago, there were advanced civilizations. It's intriguing because he believes these societies were more than just surviving the harsh ice age. They were actually thriving and developing complex technologies and knowledge systems. Carlson's idea that these ancient civilizations had advanced architectural, astronomical, and mathematical knowledge really makes you think. It's like he's saying they were capable of constructing intricate structures and had a deep understanding of celestial movements, something we usually don't attribute to societies from that time. When it comes to evidence, he points to the megalithic structures scattered across the globe. Think about the pyramids of Egypt, Stonehenge in England, or the megalithic temples of Malta. According to him, the sheer scale, precision, and architectural complexity of these structures hint at a level of skill and knowledge that wouldn't have been possible without some advanced understanding. Carlson also believes that fragments of knowledge from these Ice Age civilizations have been passed down symbolically through myths, legends, and even architectural practices. It's a fascinating idea that these stories we've grown up with might actually contain hidden truths about sophisticated societies lost to history.
You're talking about a very energetic intertidal zone, and anything that's there, short of large megalithic blocks, is going to be utterly obliterated by the time the process is through.
Randall Carlson really has a way of bringing a whole new perspective to how we look at ancient megalithic structures. He dives into how the ancient builders incorporated geometric precision and carefully selected specific stone types, suggesting they had a pretty advanced understanding of geometry and geology. It's pretty fascinating stuff, and it's not just about geometry on the ground. Carlson points out that these structures often align with astronomical events like solstices and equinoxes. Take Stonehenge or the Great Pyramids, for example. Their orientation with celestial bodies suggests that the builders of these megaliths had a deep connection with the cosmos. It's like they were linking heaven and earth through their constructions. Then there's the whole aspect of selecting different types of stones. It wasn't just about what was available, it was about understanding the properties of each stone. For the parts of structures that needed to bear more weight, they'd choose something dense and durable like granite. But for parts that were more decorative or didn't need to support as much weight, they might use softer stones like limestone or sandstone. It shows they had a good grasp of geology and were thoughtful about the longevity and durability of their creations. The aesthetic aspect was also key. The ancient builders considered the color, texture, and patterns of the stones. The way different types of stones contrasted with each other could really enhance the visual and artistic appeal of these structures. In essence, Carlson's theories paint a picture of ancient builders as not just skilled laborers, but as sophisticated architects and engineers. They were creating these incredible structures with a deep understanding of geometry, astronomy, and geology. And they were doing it with an eye for beauty as well. It's a perspective that adds a whole new layer of awe to these ancient wonders.